You may have noticed that French people speak quite fast.
Oui, tu peux commencer tout de suite.
But this detailed breakdown for the trailer of Call My Agent will help you learn each word and its meaning.
Réponds-moi direct. Est-ce que je peux t'appeler n'importe quel jour de la semaine à 4 h du matin? Réponds-moi direct. Est-ce que je peux t'appeler n'importe quel jour de la semaine à 4 h du matin?
Okay, so we start off with the imperative, réponds-moi. The imperative is used to give commands, so she's telling the interviewee, answer me straight or directly. Direct is quite intuitively directly or direct. Est-ce que je peux t'appeler? This is the est-ce que form of making a question, and since this is a job interview, it is a formal context, which is typically when the est-ce que form of making a question is used. This je peux t'appeler means I can call you, or in the question form, can I call you? And the te apostrophe stands for te, which is an indirect object pronoun. Take note that you have to put this before the verb. In English, we say call you, but in French, the te comes before the appeler. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to that, to remember to put the te before appeler. N'importe quel is a phrase that means any or no matter. And in this case, quel is masculine because jour is also masculine. Jour means day. N'importe quel jour de la semaine, of the week. So any day of the week. At 4 heures du matin, at 4 a.m. in the morning. So she's basically asking this interviewee, can I call you at any time of the day, any time of the week?
Oui, tu peux commencer tout de suite. Oui, tu peux commencer tout de suite.
So she answers, oui, yes. Tu peux commencer tout de suite. Can you start right away? So this is the intonation form of asking a question. Without this question mark and without the intonation, it would just be a statement. But since she's making her voice rise at the end, we know that it's a question. Tu peux is you can or you're able to. Commencer, to start or to begin, and this is in the infinitive form since tu peux is already conjugated. And tout de suite is a phrase that means right away or immediately.
Chaque agent a en moyenne 80 comédiens. On les aide à trouver des rôles. Chaque agent a en moyenne 80 comédiens. On les aide à trouver des rôles.
Chaque means each or every. Agent is agent or officer, and here we can see a few different contexts where this might be used. A en moyenne. A is simply the conjugation of avoir, each agent has. En moyenne, on average. 80, comédien. Comédien is a bit of a false friend. It doesn't necessarily mean comedians. It typically means actors. We do have a grammar tip here that says comédien can mean comedian or humorist in some contexts, but in modern French, it's mostly in reference to actors. Et and les aides. Les is a direct object pronoun, which is referring to les comédiens. So instead of repeating et aide les comédiens, we say les aides. And take note that this direct object pronoun has to come before the conjugated verb. À trouver, to find. And since aide is already conjugated, trouver is in the infinitive. And trouver means to find. Des rôles. Rôle, just like in English, is roles, assuming that they're helping the actors find acting roles.
On négocie leur contrat. On négocie leur contrat.
On négocie. In this case, on means we, and this is the very common usage of on in modern French. People typically use on instead of nous because the conjugations are shorter and it's just easier to say. On négocie. Négocie comes from the verb négocier, to negotiate. Leur, their. And there's an S at the end because les comédiens was plural, so leur, their is also plural. Contrat. Contrat is contracts.
On en est où de Cécile de France pour le Tarantino? On en est où de Cécile de France pour le Tarantino?
On est où? Where are we, or we are where? Où is where. Take note that you do have to put this accent grave to mean where. Without the accent grave, it's or. De is quite a versatile word in this case. De plus a noun means about or regarding. So where are we regarding Cécile de France? This is a character in Call My Agent. She's a famous actress. For le Tarantino. So this is in reference to a Tarantino film. So where are we regarding that film?
Noémie, passez-moi le contrat de Guillaume Canet, s'il vous plaît. Voilà. Noémie, passez-moi le contrat de Guillaume Canet, s'il vous plaît.
Voilà. Passez-moi. Passer is the imperative form of the verb passer, and this is in the vous form, so he's using the formal form since they're in a workplace. and moi just means me. Le contrat, as we discussed before, the contract, and this time we don't have the S because it's just a singular contract. De. Now in this case, de means of or belonging to, not about. It's like a possessive. De Guillaume Canet. Another character, s'il vous plaît, please. Voilà. Voilà is another very versatile word, and in this case it means here you go, here it is.
On les accompagne dans la gestion de leur carrière. On les accompagne dans la gestion de leur carrière.
Again, we have on used as we. On les accompagne. And we're still referring to les comédiens in this case with this direct object pronoun. Dans is in. La gestion. Gestion is management. And this might be a little hard to spot, but to manage is gérer, which has the same GE beginning, so you might be able to piece that together, or at least have a hint of what gestion could mean. De, of, leur, their, carrière, career.
En échange, on prend 10% de la rémunération. En échange, on prend 10% de la rémunération.
En means in, and échange is exchange. You might be wondering what the difference between en and dans is. A general rule of thumb is that dans is used for things that you're physically in, while en is a more figurative usage of the word in. But as we can see with this previous example, you still use dans la gestion. In this case, I would encourage you to remember en échange as a phrase rather than thinking too hard about why it's en échange versus dans échange. So, en échange, in exchange, on prend, we take, prend from the verb prendre, 10%, and here we get the French name of the series, where it comes from. 10%, 10 is 10%, percent, de la, of the rémunération. Rémunération is payment. So that basically completes the job description. In exchange for our services, we take 10% of the payment or the commission.
Qui est parti, concrètement?
Berléand.
Qui est parti, concrètement?
Berléand.
So this scene is kind of fun. It expresses a bit of the stress and the drama that's involved in this TV show. Qui est parti? Qui is who? Est parti. Parti comes from the verb partir, and this is one of the Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp verbs which uses être as its auxiliary verb for passé composé instead of avoir. So, qui est parti? Who left? Concrètement, concretely. And then this slash indicates a change of speakers, so the person on the phone is saying Berléand. And then in the next scene,
Qui a frappé l'autre?
Berléand.
Qui a frappé l'autre?
Berléand.
she's asking qui a frappé l'autre. So qui means who, a frappé. Frappé is a versatile verb. It means to hit, but it can also mean to clap. So qui a frappé l'autre, the other, in reference to the other person. And the person on the phone responds once again, Berléand. So this pair of scenes kind of expresses a little bit of a conundrum that they're having in the office.
Julie Gaillet et Joe Star ont disparu. Julie Gaillet et Joe Star ont disparu.
Once again, we have some names, Julie Gaillet et Joe Star, who are presumably famous actors, ont disparu. Now, disparu is the past participle of the verb disparaître, and we use avoir to conjugate the passé composé. So we have ont disparu.
Non mais ils veulent pas juste faire leur métier. Non mais ils veulent pas juste faire leur métier.
So this is a good example of a rhetorical question and how translating the sentence directly will not really get you the actual meaning of the sentence. So if we go word by word, we have non, no, mais. In this case, mais is indicating doubt. It doesn't necessarily mean but. It's more of an interjection. It's more of just like a little filler. Ils veulent, they want, from the verb vouloir. Ils veulent pas. Notice in spoken French the ne is often dropped, so it's not ils ne veulent pas, it's just ils veulent pas. Juste is just or only. Faire is to do, and it's in the infinitive because vouloir is conjugated. Leur, their, métier. So métier is the word for trade or profession. It's a bit distinct from carrière. Carrière is more overarching, it's more of a larger scale, whereas métier might be the job that you're doing right now. Métier is a bit higher level than boulot. So these words, boulot, métier, and carrière, are kind of on a hierarchy, and métier is somewhere in the middle. In this, he's expressing some exasperation, saying, can't they just do their job? And we can see how that's translated here and how we would say that in French.
10%, la série qui vous fait découvrir le prix de la célébrité. 10%, la série qui vous fait découvrir le prix de la célébrité.
10% is just in reference to the TV show's name. La série, série means series, and it can be used for any type of series, book series, or TV series. Qui. Now, contrary to popular belief, qui doesn't just mean who, it can also mean that or which, and in this case it's a relative pronoun. So it's different from ce qui a frappé l'autre. In that case, it's just who. Qui vous fait découvrir. Faire is basically saying to make someone do something. So vous fait, that makes you. Again, the syntax is a bit flipped in French. Découvrir, to discover. Le prix, the price or the cost. De la célébrité, of fame or being a celebrity. So basically she's saying, the series will make you realize or discover the cost of fame. If you want to continue building your professional French vocabulary, we've included a free PDF below of 60 business French words. And if you like deep dives like this, be sure to check out our previous video on the trailer for Jurassic World, where you can test your French knowledge with a movie you've probably already seen.